Next, we have to our stage another powerhouse woman chiropractor, Brandi MacDonald. I did the same thing on the video, didn't I? The exact same thing. We have a powerhouse woman. She should be a DC. Reason being is chiropractor touched her life to where she is now changing. I can say this with the planet because she's gone to 8 countries in the last year. I'm a chiropractor doing this 20 years doing this. I haven't been to 80 countries. Telling people about the principle of chiropractic. So it is exciting to have Brandi MacDonald. She's an executive director of the IFCO. We have her on stage. She flew in from way up north. And Brandi MacDonald to do you.
I can't close my eyes. These are the best years of our lives. I don't want to sleep while I'm alive. I don't want to miss a thing tonight.
Hello, Denver. Lame, but I'll take it. I came from the booming metropolis, because Joel couldn't remember, of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Nice, the 3 people that know where that is. If you take a 3-hour flight north and you drop down from the North Pole, that's where I live. We're known for absolutely nothing. We lost the biggest mall in the world to Dubai, and we lost Wayne Gretzky like 2,000 years ago, and we think we still own him, so other than that, we got nothing. So when I have the opportunity to travel, I'm excited to leave my city, especially to come to Denver because it's the same time zone as I am, which is unheard of for me, and it's a direct flight. So I don't know about you, but I landed, and I thought the hotel was in Denver. I've been to Denver 4 or 5 times. And the cab driver asked for the address, and he put it in his GPS, and then we did this beautiful 30-minute tour of the farmlands of Colorado. Did anybody else do that tour? Is that how you get here? Because I wasn't sure if the dude was taking me for a ride, or if I was actually going where I was supposed to be going. So $90 later, I made it. Does that sound right? Thank you, that's what I thought. Anyways, I'm happy to be here. So you're all here to hear about chiropractic, and thank you, Elise, for that, because I'm going to talk a little bit about what Elise talked about, taking chiropractic to the world. But I'm going to do that with an analogy, and I'm going to talk a little bit, if you will bear with me for a few minutes, about spaghetti sauce. So I want you to imagine in 1970, a little company named Ragu had the domination on the spaghetti sauce market. Ragu was killing it. Now, Ragu was not a very good spaghetti sauce. Prego knew they had a better spaghetti sauce than Ragu. In fact, when Prego was poured on spaghetti, it stuck on the spaghetti, it was really nice, it didn't sink to the bottom, it wasn't all watery. Yet, they couldn't dominate the spaghetti sauce market. So they hired a guy named Howard Moskowitz, who was a market analysis researcher who would do focus groups and said, you go to the world and see what the world wants from spaghetti sauce. We want to compete, we want to play. So Howard went into Campbell's Soup Kitchen and made 45 different types of spaghetti sauce and ended up with 10 different varieties of spaghetti sauce. And he took it to focus groups. And he took all the spaghetti sauce to focus groups and he said, try out the spaghetti sauce. See what you think. See if you like it. He came back to Prego and he said, amazing. We've been able to narrow it down to 3 big varieties of spaghetti sauce. The American public likes 3 types of spaghetti sauce. Spicy, regular or plain, and extra chunky. And Prego said, extra chunky? You're telling us that a third of the American public likes extra chunky spaghetti sauce? And Howard said, yes, and varieties of that. Yet extra chunky spaghetti sauce had never been on the market before. And that in fact what he found was the American public picked a type of spaghetti sauce they didn't even know they wanted or needed when it was presented to them. And they went on to sell those 3 types and different 3 varieties and different types within those varieties to the American public, dominated the spaghetti sauce market in the 1980s, and made $600 million in extra chunky tomato sauce alone. So when I first saw this TED Talk by a guy named Malcolm Gladwell, I thought immediately of chiropractic. And I tell you that story tonight in the very brief time I have for you to think a little bit about spaghetti sauce as it relates to chiropractic. And there were three big points that stood out for me when I first heard that talk. The first talk was that what Howard said was, we are asking the wrong questions to the public about spaghetti sauce, or frankly, any food at that time. We are asking the public to tell us what they want and what they need in the current mindset that they're in. And then what we're doing is providing it to them. So I contend that perhaps in chiropractic, what we're doing is that we are asking the public what they are prepared to accept about chiropractic, and we are giving it to them in the mindset that they are currently at. I contend that perhaps we have not taken extra chunky tomato sauce to the world. Why? First and foremost, because we, as chiropractors and chiropractic assistants and advocates, don't fully believe in the power of extra chunky tomato sauce. What is extra chunky tomato sauce? It is one thing. It is that we are the only profession on the planet that is trained to detect and correct subluxation. And that in fact, when the nervous system is in a state of distortion or subluxated, the body cannot express health. And when the body cannot express health, an organism cannot fully express life. That is extra chunky tomato sauce. And in fact, there are other people selling spicy, and there are other people selling plain, and who cares? Because nobody is selling extra chunky spaghetti sauce in chiropractic. And in fact, those two markets are flooded. There are enough people treating symptoms and disease and enough people treating back pain, but nobody is changing the health and life potential of the planet other than the chiropractors trained to detect and correct subluxation. Nobody. The third reason I tell the story is that I was the public who bought plain spaghetti sauce my entire life. I was lock, stock, and barrel sold on plain spaghetti sauce. So by the time I was 24 years old and diagnosed in stage 2 renal failure, I had already been treated and diagnosed with cervical cancer, but been told I was healthy, and a chiropractor walked into a nightclub that I was working at and offered me extra chunky spaghetti sauce. I didn't even know I needed it, and I didn't know that ultimately it would save my life. 2 years later, when my renal reading results came back normal, the only thing I had done in my life was receive a chiropractic adjustment. I hadn't worked out, I hadn't taken supplementation, I hadn't changed the way I saw my life. I laid on a table and got connected. As I got connected, my health behaviors changed. The source of health is different than health behaviors. And as we connect somebody to the source of health, they themselves change their behaviors on their own. You don't need to make them change their behaviors. Do what you do well. We sell extra chunky tomato sauce. The world does not know they need it or want it. And by the way, not everybody wants it, FYI. A third of the world wanted extra chunky tomato sauce. Let everybody else buy the other types of spaghetti sauce. There are billions of people on the planet walking around with a nervous system that has never been checked by a chiropractor. There are enough people that want this, need it, and like me, it will save their life. I don't put that lightly. I was told I would be on dialysis by the time I was 40. Today I am 42 years old, and it changed who I became because somebody sold me something, a different model than what I had bought my entire life. Somebody had the courage to tell me the truth. You have to have the courage to know what we do is enough. The chiropractic adjustment is enough. As people get connected, they will choose their behaviors differently. By doing that, you will change who they become. It is critically important for you to understand that yourself, own it as a chiropractor, lay your hands on people with that intention, allow your teams to lay their minds on people with that intention, and you will watch the world buy us in billions of dollars. Billions. Because nobody's offering it. We're the only ones on the planet offering it. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about how to communicate that to the world, because we can't just be brilliant at what we do, fly from the rooftops and be passionate. We have to have a model that explains it to the world in a way they want it, It's of value to them, and they choose it, and we choose them, the people who want what we have. Get involved. I am the executive director of the IFCO. Why? Because, thank you. Why? Because they have always sold chunky spaghetti sauce. They may not have done it the way we wanted them to do it, but the IFCO of today is not the IFCO of yesterday. 50% of the speakers on this stage this weekend are either my leadership, they sit on my board, or they're members. Thank you. Look us up, ifcochiro.org. If we resonate with you, please join us. I'm really proud of the work we've done over the last year, and we're going to continue to do that work going forward. We are a different organization. We want the world to have the right to be checked by a chiropractor who sells chunky tomato sauce. Period. I want to thank you for your time. 15 minutes goes really fast. If I don't see you tomorrow, I hope to see you on the road. Thanks, Denver. Appreciate you. Thank you.